Folks, this is Book Talk with Corbin, and I am your host. We have with us a very special guest, and I'm going to explain a little bit later why she is so special. Just, all my guests are special, but she in particular is a very important guest. She's an American entrepreneur and an educator. Her name is Lily Tang Williams. Lily grew up experiencing extremely poor living conditions, food rationing, social chaos, and communist indoctrination during the Maoist era in China. She came to the United States in 1988 to study in a graduate school. She frequently travels throughout the United States, sharing her story of her American dream and educating people about the horrors of communism, socialism, Marxism, etc. Lily has contributed her opinion articles to National Review, Town Hall, the Epic Times. She has appeared on Fox News, John Strasso, and she is also she also has her own YouTube channel and a Facebook page. And guys, in the description, we'll give you her website, her Facebook page, and her YouTube channel, so you can go there and follow her. Make sure you hit like and share and follow her on her YouTube channel. It's very important. Now, I'm going to read directly from her bio. Lily is on the Speakers Bureau of Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. She has been speaking to students in middle schools, high schools, and colleges in the past 4 years across the country. And speaking to my listeners, guys, gals, listen. She is someone who's personally experienced, her family experienced the horrors of living under socialism. And she's come to the United States, thank God. She's here with us. She's a citizen. She's an entrepreneur. Here's why she's so special to me. She can talk to us directly from her experiences, as to what it's like living under this socialist nonsense. My sister, thank you so much for for your time today.
Well, thank you for having me here, Corbin. I really appreciate it. More opportunities for me to speak to American people, the public, our students, the better, because I'm really worried about this country.
And oh my Lord, I wish you hadn't said that, because that's a 2-hour discussion or
yeah,
more.
I know. That's all right. We have more opportunities later.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's one of my concerns, and I'm sure it's one of yours too. There is, poll after poll has indicated a lot of our young people here in the United States are embracing socialism. As you know, Bernie Sanders, an open socialist, an open Marxist, almost got the Democratic Party nomination. Clearly shows that a lot of people are embracing this whole socialist nonsense. Here in Kentucky, Charles Booker, a person who's running for Senate, he openly brought Bernie Sanders to Kentucky and openly embraced him. What is going on here, do you think, with our young people embracing this whole socialist madness?
It's not just that. Also, they embrace critical race theory. They embrace the 1619 Project. It's very sad for me to see our young people have been indoctrinated by our public schools, even sometimes private schools, and other schools. They're all leaning left. I mean, where are the other diversity of voices, opinions? It's all one-sided. So it's like we have failed as some kind of conservative voices, that we give up the educational field to all the radical left voices. And you see Teachers Union come out recently to embrace approved critical race theory teaching to our school students. See, I grew up under Mao. Whatever we're doing in this country right now remind me of the Mao's Cultural Revolution, where you only focus on identity politics. You divide all the people into oppressor versus oppressed groups, and then you get our kids to turn on each other, to hate their country, and to even spy on each other, report on each other. and they becoming like a red guards. You know, if people don't know the history, of course they don't know, they don't recognize even the terms of equity. You know, like a Mao used like a critical class theory to divide people by classes. We all were Chinese, speak same language, but we were divided into 10 classes to fight each other. Here, it's all about critical race theory, divide people by skin color. How I come to this country when I woke up in China about 23 years old. I come to this country because this country is exceptional country, a shining city on a hill for freedom, prosperity, opportunities, and for freedom. Then you see today our people, at least more than maybe half of them, don't even understand what America is about, what the freedom means. They want to rely on government for everything, but all the communists, socialists like to promise stuff they never can. I went through that because Mao promised same thing, like the socialist Bernie Sanders people are promising for years, right? Free this, free that, so you don't rely on yourself. You don't take personal responsibilities. Families don't help each other. Communities all don't do private charity anymore. It's all rely on government for the dose. But when government promise stuff, communists promise stuff, they never came. We had to pay for childcare, for schools, for healthcare. And the only thing we got for free under Mao was community housing provided by, my dad's work and state factory. But who wants to live in community housing when you have 8 families share 1 bathroom, 1 water faucet, and there's like no heating in the winter, no, even you have to go to an outdoor primitive kitchen to cook, and your water runs out, electricity runs out, and no privacy, totally controlled by one party rule, which is Communist Party. They have block committees come to sit on your bed to talk to you. And then you go to schools and everybody work for government 6 days a week. Then we had to go to school for 6 days a week. Then we're indoctrinated to only love Mao and love Communist Party and demonize all the rich landowners, capitalists, so-called dissidents, and counter-revolutionaries. All that stuff I went through, it's very scary to see our kids, they don't know any of that, and they wanted to do the same thing, and they even don't recognize public good, equity. It's all Marxist terms. In order to do that, you have to use government force to redistribute wealth and to divide and conquer people. It's a critical time, Colby. I'm very terrified. All the immigrants like me are terrified to say this is not the country we came here for.
Amen, sister. And here again, I wanted to go back to how you're in that Speakers Bureau called Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. Folks, it's very important that we contact that foundation. We try to get, someone like our sister Lily to come speak to our young people, because Sister Lily, do you think our young people in the United States of America are taught the truth, the facts about what it means to live under a socialist dictatorship?
No, because I had my 3 kids all grew up, and I went to public school, so I couldn't homeschool. And I barely spoke very good English, myself. And we had to really deprogram them at home at every dinner table. And they spend the minimum time to talk about even the Declaration of Independence and constitutional rights of each individual citizen. About 30 minutes, I think my daughter told me, unless you take civics class, I even don't know if they're available nowadays, you must take civics class to graduate from high school. They did not have to, it was elective. But they were indoctrinated all the way by the left side, even though we lived in Colorado, a pretty conservative county for 20 years. But all the school teachers and curriculums and teachers unions are all leaning left. And now it just got worse and got worse and got worse. And today, they use critical race theory to basically divide people, and anything you say that not in line with them, and if you're white, they call you oppressor, white racist, and you're born racist. And
Right.
if you're black, you're supposed to be oppressed. You're supposed to be victim, and you're not supposed to be achievers. Don't be surprised if you disagree with them someday. They're gonna call you racist
Right.
against yourself. It's like, is that insane? So I think we have give up the classroom settings. We have let government controlling the talk, narratives, agenda, curriculum, ever since like probably 30, 40 years ago, maybe longer than that. Before I even come to this country, I learned a little bit history about cultural Marxism and about even the Frankfurt School. But then we, as conservative, we have been want to just raise family, working hard. I started my business. I wasn't political. I even did not understand American politics for first 20 years in this country. So when I finally woke up 2008, I just could not recognize this. Why our people are using Marxist terms? Why are they talk about government give you free stuff?
Right.
And why government's getting bigger and bigger, invading our privacy, our private business, and then indoctrinate our kids to be all like a social justice warriors today. So it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, yes, I can see. I can see. So what you're saying is, look, I lived under this kind of madness, this Maoist socialist madness. I've lived under this. Then you come to the United States, and after a while, you're saying, hey, what I saw happening under the Maoist socialist dictatorship, I'm seeing happening in the United States right now through the guise of critical race theory and things like that. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the thing is, when Mao started the Cultural Revolution, he did use young people to follow him religiously, like today's young people, quasi-religiously following, the communist, the socialist style politicians, leaders, or social media, whoever, professors, and they just don't understand America, what is America founded on? If you want to destroy American system, civil society, all the institutions, what would you like to replace American culture with? What? Socialism, Marxism, that has not worked well all over the country. And also, I want to remind people, the Communist Party of China has been infiltrating into our Western democracy countries. And they have established Confucius Institute, all the propaganda machines into those countries, including the United States. We just finished with them. Maybe, hopefully, they will never come back here, called Confucius Institute. They use the name of the teaching Chinese language and culture. They went to schools, they went to universities. And I just post something today on my Facebook. Private University Cornell is having joint degree programs, Beijing University. And because they like the money, they do not condemn their human rights abuses. So the CCP propaganda and spies, they all are inside America today. Our universities, academics, and the civil societies, government, and how many political elected officials are connected with Chinese government, making money through relatives and through their business. I don't know. But it's something we got to think about that, this is very scary. I call this right now, what's happening in our country, government tyranny, shutdowns, business, shut down churches, shut down schools, then force you to wear masks, just like forever, and force you to have vaccinations. It's like they use a so-called pandemic. Maybe it is leaked by Chinese government from the lab on purpose, maybe to wake the democracy, wake the westernized societies, wake our economy so they can take over more. And I'm very worried that their influence is huge. And some people even don't realize me. I have Chinese friends who are liberty activists. They are even afraid in this country because they're being chased and targeted by the spies, by the pro-CCP people trying to hurt them and kill them. I got warned on my Facebook page, don't go home again, because I'm speaking publicly, educate Americans about